All right, so off camera, I went ahead and put the rest of these in here. I am gonna cut this one back out in the next day or so, and I'll put a little bit of a flare on that. That way it matches up with this one and the rest of them. All these are flared all the way up. That one's flat, not cool. So I'll put a little bit of shape in there. Excuse me. But you can see that it turned out pretty cool. Everything looks, you know, proportional side to side. And like I said, this is two Fenders. I'll go ahead and cut them apart and show you what I got. So I think I'm gonna put in each one of these are stations, and I think I'm gonna put another station here, and then maybe another one right here. So I'll bend some metal here and get these welded in, and then maybe one here, and I might put a couple right here on the sides, and I might just have to put the camera over here and set it up. I don't have my assistant Heidi over here filming today, so get as much done as I can. We'll see what happens. So these pieces here were like 13-inch tall, and I went ahead and just cut them and put them in. There's one over there and one here, and they're the exact same piece, so I wasn't gonna mess around. I mean, there's no shaping or nothing, so kind of boring. So I went ahead and welded those in. I'll go ahead and start getting these pieces here set up. I think there's a little bit of curve on these guys. So like I said, you have the left and right fender now. And by doing that, you're mirroring, it's a mirrored fender. So you have a left and a right and they're identical. And then the next step I'll do is I'll start putting the sheeting on here. And in the next video, that's what we're gonna start doing. We'll start building all these panels in the station, you know, like from here to here, here back, and then here for, you know, we'll probably build this whole fender in 3 pieces or 4 pieces, whatever. And I'll do that on next Sunday's video. I appreciate you guys watching this, this little series we're doing every Sunday on building Vigilante. And the next thing that I will be doing is building the buck for the front fenders right here. And then when I get the fenders pretty much mocked up, we're gonna start building the frame for the car. And I'm looking for a front end right now. If you guys have any ideas, put a comment down below. I will not use a Heights front end, so please don't mention that, not to be an ass, but I've had some bad experiences with the Heights Mustang 2 style front ends. I will not use one of those. A Crown Vic is just too big and sloppy for this car. It's got to be something smaller, like maybe a S10 or Dodge Dakota or something like that. If you guys can come up with anything any ideas, I'd love to hear the comments down below, because I want to snub that off and put rails coming back, and I'll weld those that subframe to the front or whatever, so I have power steering and disc brakes and whatever. I'm not going to run a dropped axle like this truck just because I want coilovers, I want airbags, you know, the whole deal. So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys watching the series every Sunday, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Later. All right, so this is where I'm at. I'm gonna go ahead and cut them apart, and then I'll get a little bit more of a close-up when I lay them on the welding table. So now I have two identical fenders. Kind of hard to see in the camera. There's no sheeting on them right now. Sheeting, whatever you want to call it, sheeting. But now I got the left side and the right side on the car, or for the rear fenders. And with this style right here, you could use aluminum to build the buck, and the metal will not stick to it when you weld. You could use a wooden buck. A lot of guys like to use a wooden buck. You could also take a CNC plasma cutter table, and cut stations, and they lock together and build a buck out of that. You could use electrical conduit, pretty much whatever your imagination comes up with. I've seen guys use foam, all kinds of different stuff, you know, materials to build the buck for their fenders or any shapes on a car. And you literally can't build that shape without having the shape first. So you need the buck to build the shape. And you know, the next step is I'll build some braces in here, uprights like this, and then I'll start sheeting these fenders and get the shape on them, and then we could put them up next to the car and check them out, and we'll probably do that on the next video. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and well, let me get a close-up first. Dr. Horton, room 5.
Did you know they make a left and right on those? Sorry.
Don't make me start. Struggle bus.
And just because you're using handheld nippers, somebody's gonna say, you should have used your...
I got my Harbor Freight shirt behind me.
You do. I
So
love it.
fun,
I
man.
love it. But you know what? Everybody's got their own way. Let people do their own thing, right? It's kind of fine. I'm like, do my own thing. Did it work? Yeah, pull it your way a little. There you go.
Smash my face into the
There,
jet.
you're on the lines now. There you go.
Yes, that will work. See?
Nice.
Cool.
So at first you weren't on your lines, but you couldn't really see it. We could see it. You couldn't see it. So cliffhanger is over. That is going to work.
Mm-hmm. You still filming?
I'm filming.
All right. So what do you want to say?
Well, who shot JR? Anybody old enough to remember that?
So anyways, so I got this piece cut now. I'll go ahead and start shaping it some more. And then just one after another, I want to do this video this video series or episodes or whatever you want to call it, where I show each piece that's made for the fenders. Then when I weld them on the car, I'll do the same thing. But I'll see you guys in a minute when we start filming the rest of the pieces. You know, after we get this piece finished up or whatever, we'll start building some more pieces. You shut it up. Go ahead. So I just tried it right here. I had Heidi help me, and we clamped this on real quick, carefully. And by taking a 1/2 inch off the bottom, just running an angle on that, that gives me enough here where I'm not gonna run out of material and have to put in a little patch piece right here. So the next thing I'll do is I'll get this clamped and I'll start marking where I need to shrink. Obviously right here, you can see it needs to be shrunk. And I'll have to do that on the stump or the shrinker, however I'm gonna do it. And then obviously right here, it's gonna have to be shrunk like this and this. So that's what we'll be working on next. Who's at the door?
I don't think anybody's at the door. So nobody was at the door. And now the fun begins.
I'm trying to find a pin. Why is nothing writing?
Right, that is true. Do you want this pink one that's right over there? It's
It comes right up.
Oh, it does. Because it's one of those.
Trying to mark it so I can show them that by tuck shrinking in here, what I'm doing is I'm taking this panel here, taking this panel and I'm bringing it in like this. That's what we need.
And that's going to make it go through?
Well, this is going to go this way, and it's going to bring it in tighter, which is going to pull this down a lot. So.
Alright, well, I think we'll go over here. So, the shrinking stuff is always kind of tricky because I never know what you're going to use, and you need to be able to walk around it. So, I hope I can get good angles on that.
So this is a shrinking stump right here. And I use the flat spot a lot, and then I cut in a groove here, and I cut in this groove here. I built this thing years ago. Anytime I do metal fabrication in here or metal shaping, this gets used all the time. And you got your tight shrinks here, and then a tight tuck shrink, and a loose or big tuck shrink. And right now we're a pretty good size spot. So. That's a tuck shrink right here. Right there. And that's what you want. And then that starts bringing this panel this way.
So
and then
that
you want
triangle?
Yeah, and then you want to use a hammer to put it on a flat spot, and you're going to walk that out. That's what we're doing.
I just ran into the stump again.
Did you?
Yes.
So I need to run it all the way back to here now. Come in here. Hardest part is trying to see through the metal. See how this is getting closer now? If I go like this. So now I'm gonna run it right here with the English wheel in here.
So you're building portions of it at a time.
Yep.
Swap the third one. How do you know which one to use?
I want an aggressive one right now. Aggressive so I can get a lot of shrinking.
When you're doing this, what ways are you pulling down on the...
So right here I'm pulling down this way, pulling down this way. I'm trying to get this to come over a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I need to go a little bit right here.
Okay. That is aggressive.
You probably see in the video how much it pulls it down.
Yeah, you can see it right away.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
And see if you keep going, it wants to blow there, and that's what we're trying to get rid of, is so it stops pulling on that bottom part, you know?
Okay.
Oh, I need a drink.
Yeah, it's hard
You
work,
shut that
huh?
off, baby.
Yep.
All right, I have about another hour into it right now, and Heidi had to leave, so I'm filming this myself now. But you can see that I'm starting to get the shape, and it's actually laying right up against the metal buck. And this one is off like 3/8. So I have a lot more smoothing to get these dents out, and I had to shrink it a lot more in here and then on the edges and stuff. And you know, I was running the shrinker stretcher right on the edges, but then I took and cut that excess off so that where it was close, once I cut everything off, then it almost sits right on the buck. So I'll get this trimmed up down here so there's no light underneath it, so it sits flat or flush on the table. And then the other thing I did is on the vice grips, I modified them so that I could hold the, I just took some of this round rod right here, and I cut pieces and welded it on the vice grips, so then that way it grabs and holds on to that panel. Hopefully you guys can see that. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna cut this video short. I will see you next Sunday on the metal shaping series that we're doing. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good weekend. Later. All right, that helped a lot right there. Running this this edge on the shrinker, and I shrunk it so that it pulled that tight. And what that does is when it pulls it tight, it kind of pulled this over just a little bit where I needed it to be. I clamped it back up, and then I'm checking all the gaps right now, and everything's touching. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. Everything's touching right on the form or the buck. And like right here, it's a little loose, but where am I at? But from the backside, it looks good. Everything's getting there, you know. I have a little bit of hammer and dolly work to do to keep it where it's sitting right on the buck. So what I'll do is I'll trim this. I'll mark this with a Sharpie on the backside. I'll get it trimmed so that it's ready to weld or whatever. And then what I'll do is I'll put it, you know, on my table, and I'll just hammer and dolly all these little high and low spots out. And I'll do that with a sanding block and probably use some Dykem spray. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I use the blue when I'm doing a lot of sheet metal work. You guys see me using this all the time, but I like to use the red. And this is steel red layout fluid. I use this for the panels when I'm doing sanding, trying to get them perfect so that they fit up real nice. So by the time I'm done, this whole damn fender will probably be red. And then when I run a flat block over the top of it, like right here, you can see a low spot. That needs to be hammered out a little bit. And most of this I'll do on the English wheel, and then any little low spots or high spots, I'll knock down the highs and then bring out the lows. So we'll keep working on that. All right, I got the edge trimmed off right here, and eventually we'll do like I don't know if we'll weld that or if I'll do like a, you know, wire bead edge or something. I'm not sure yet. This goes to the car, so don't need anything there. On this side might do something, not really sure yet. We'll figure that out when we come to it. But it's fitting a lot better. But like I said, I got some flat spots and stuff in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the English wheel, clean it up, file all the edges a little bit better. I just hit them with the flap wheel on the sander, but it's fitting nice and whatever. A couple of high spots right here that I got knocked down, and I'll work on doing this on the beater bag and then hammer and dolly, and that's where I'm going now.